Seeing Giyu get the recognition that he deserves, finally, it's so great. It's so great. What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel and to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite moments from the new Demon Slayer Infinity Castle movie. So I think it goes without saying before we dive in, this video does contain spoilers regarding the new Demon Slayer Infinity Castle movie that just came out in the United States last weekend. So if you have not seen the movie yet and you are not a manga reader, I highly suggest waiting to watch this until you have seen the movie, but definitely go see it. It's worth it. Go see it. And I'm also just gonna say that this was incredibly hard to narrow down, but this is based off of like, did I get goosebumps? Was I like super into it? This is completely subjective and based off of me, what I enjoy out of the movie. It's gonna be probably very different from other people. I'm not looping in any objective fact into why these moments are my favorite, okay? But we're gonna dive right in, but before we do, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. What were your top 5 favorite moments in the movie? Let me know in the comments below. And because the movie is so freaking good, I do have to just mention at least 5 honorable mentions. So I guess this is my top 10 favorite moments. So the honorable mentions first are going to be Akaza's backstory, which I'm gonna make an entire video about that soon because I'm seeing a lot of people complain about it, and I have a lot of thoughts on that, but I'm trying to kind of gather them and come up with a cohesive video about it that I can't right now because I want to make sure I do it justice. But Akaza's backstory is so incredible to the plot. It needed to be long, and if you didn't like the fact that it had a long backstory, how have you made it this far with Demon Slayer? Because Demon Slayer's been doing backstories like that for forever. Anyway, Akaza's backstory, I cry every time. It's so great. It gets an honorable mention. Number 2, Murata. I love that they added, because there was like a little mention of it in one of the sides, like just little notes that Gotoge wrote in the manga. It wasn't actually a part of a panel or anything. It just mentioned that Murata was a water breather, but he couldn't actually make water like appear out of it because he wasn't that good at it. And I love that they added that into the movie. I was like, yeah, go Murata! I love Murata. He's just such a funny character to me, and that moment was super enjoyable. Going off of that, another honorable mention is just like all of the moments that made me giggle, like Giyu being so unintentionally funny when he says, now I'm angry because you sent me flying and now my back hurts. It's like, okay, dude. Super relatable, and then he's immediately unrelatable because for me, if my back starts to hurt, I'm on the couch and not able to move. His back starts to hurt and he then levels up and becomes better. I'm like, not relatable anymore, too bad. When Tanjiro yells, Akaza, I'm going to cut your head off now. I'm also gonna make a video about that moment because some people missed some important story development with that, but still funny, still makes me facepalm, loved it. I just loved that they throw in a few moments here and there to just lighten the mood a little bit, make it a little bit funny, even if it's like unintentional, and I really enjoyed that. And again, this is very hard to narrow down. I've seen the movie 4 times, and quite honestly, this list could change by the 5th time I watch it because I'm having to go based off of memory. It's been, how long has it been? It's been 48 hours almost since I've seen it, so I'm like trying to remember. But let's start with number 5. And this is such a little moment compared to some of the other big moments, but I don't care. And that is Giyu saving Tanjiro at the beginning of the movie. Now, for those of you who don't know, maybe this is your first time watching my channel or whatever, I am a manga reader, so I have read the entire story until the end. I know what's gonna happen. However, that full sequence was pretty much anime original content. In the manga, we go from seeing Tanjiro notice the bottom and say, if I hit that, I'm gonna die, to Giyu grabbing his Haori. So when Giyu like comes soaring through the air with his sword and like he's all ready and he does water breathing to grab him, he throws him to safety, but then Tanjiro like falls through the railing and then Giyu grabs the Haori. That was all anime original content, and let me tell you, as someone who has Tanjiro and Giyu as my favorite 2 characters, and it's partially because of their dynamic with each other, I was eating in the first 5 minutes of the movie. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. So because that stuck with me so much, and how just beelined Giyu went for Tanjiro. Like, you could tell he was so focused. And from the start of them falling into the Infinity Castle, Tanjiro has been the only character on his mind. Like, we saw at the end of Hashira training that as they're all falling through, most of the characters are all, like, worried about themselves. Giyu is like, Tanjiro, you know? So he just is in this, like, mindset of, I need to protect Tanjiro, I need to protect Tanjiro, and we see that here because he is on a mission to keep him from hitting the bottom. And I loved it, along with the music. It was so good. Okay, all right, I gotta move on from that. Otherwise, I'm gonna gush about it for the entire video. Number 4 is a little bit more broad, and that is Shinobu's final thrust. And I mean, like, from the time she uses that breathing form, which I can't remember exactly which one she used, to the time that, I don't know. I didn't like, one of the things that you don't notice as a manga reader is when bones break, because even if they add, like, words to make a sound effect within the drawing, you kind of miss it sometimes. I did not like how it was like her neck broke and then her head. Anyway, Anyway, I just really liked from the moment her sister showed up. I think that's a really powerful moment, and a very interesting moment too, because Kanai is like telling her, like, too bad, don't cry. You said you were gonna defeat him, then do it. And I feel like that's really like, whoa, okay, bro, like, your sister's dying here. Like, maybe, like, be careful. But it was the push that she needed. So I really liked that she had this moment with her sister. And then the whole animation sequence, the music, and watching her, you know, thrust him into the ceiling. And even what happens after that, the little backstory moment, you get to understand her character a little bit more. There's, like, piano that plays right after that when she's saying, like, why doesn't poison work on you? And then he grabs her. I just felt like that whole moment was very cinematic. At one point, the camera was kind of, like, rotating around the scene. It was very, very interesting. I don't like how it ends, because Shinobu, I love her, and, you know, I hate that she had to die that way. But that was still such a fantastic moment, and they did a really good job within the movie to make it so important. Number 3, and I guess these are technically 2 moments. I'm already breaking my own rules, and I'm so sorry, but I had to kind of put them together because they both mean, like, the same amount to me, and that is Zenitsu's 7th form and him meeting Gramps in, like, the afterlife, but not being able to actually go to the afterlife because he doesn't die. First things first, the way they adapted the 7th form with the music, like, you could feel the beat in your heart. You're like, yeah! And the coloring, like, the way they colored the 7th form was amazing, and just so many chills. But for me, the more important part, and the thing that makes me cry, is when Gramps tells him, "You are my pride and joy." I've watched this movie 4 times, and each time I have openly cried over it, like, tears running down my cheeks, not just like a little, like, oh. Like, I'm like, I don't know. I think it's because Zenitsu is a very interesting character, and he doesn't mean as much to characters do. I have my issues with him. However, Zenitsu is a character that is just not confident in himself ever. You know, like, he is so scared because he doesn't believe in his ability, because he doesn't even really know that's what he can do, because he always does it while he's asleep. And in this movie, we see him kind of come in touch with his unconscious side. And for him to tell Gramps, like, you hate me, I couldn't do it, we had to go different paths, I'm so sorry. And then for Jigoro to just tell him, you're my pride and joy. God damn it! Oh! Okay, yeah, incredible. Just absolutely incredible. It was so good. It was so beautiful, so well done. Hats off to everyone involved. Voice actors, musicians, animators, everyone. It was such a beautiful scene. All right, number 2, and this might come as a surprise that it is not number 1, but hear me out. Number 2 is Tanjiro unlocking the transparent world and saving Giyu. And I say this might come as a surprise because people know Tanjiro is my favorite character, and I love every moment that he learns something new. And this moment is very, very important to me because the fact that he is able to save Giyu from the exact same fate as Rengoku in this moment is a full circle moment for him, which is why it's so high on my list. I think my only issue with it is I don't know what I was expecting. I guess I was expecting them to sit on the idea that Giyu might have just died a few more times. I feel like with the way they set up the music, because there was like a guitar riff in the background, you could tell that Giyu wasn't actually gonna die, and they revealed that his arm got cut off very quickly, which I think in the manga it was that quick, but when you're reading it in manga, you can like look at the panel for as long as you want and be like, what just happened? In the anime, it just keeps moving, so I guess the reason why it's number 2 and not number 1 is because it didn't quite have the same, it didn't give me the feeling that I thought it was gonna give me. I thought the audience was gonna be like, no, like no way, Giyu just died. But it didn't really lead us to believe that he was going to. Like they didn't make it seem like that was a possibility. Like it was immediately like, okay, Tanjiro saved him, but the music in the background didn't make it sound like it was gonna be a big moment. So I guess that's why it's number 2 and not number 1. It's one of the only things that I like kind of was like, that didn't quite get me as much as I thought it would. But that being said, it still is such an incredible character moment that I have to put it in number 2 because it's so important to his character. It is a full circle moment for him, and I just love that he does it. And then Giyu's like, Tanjiro just saved me. And you know that he's thinking back to when he saved Tanjiro, and she saves him multiple times in this battle too. Because Tanjiro, at the end of the day, physically is not up to speed and par with Giyu quite yet. But man, oh man, was this moment so good. And then the scene that follows after it with him just evading the attacks and having this like out-of-body experience. I don't remember that being depicted like that in the manga. I found that really interesting. The music was really good. Again, the animation was really interesting. It wasn't as like movement heavy, but it was so cool. It was just like very mesmerizing. And then, of course, the little funny moment where he calls out his name and then is still able to behead him just a little bit after. And side note, the voice acting, listen, I've said this before, I'll say it again. I have full trust in Hanai-san. I never worry about how things are going to sound voice acting wise because I know he's always going to knock it out of the park. When he says Hino Kamikagura, but like does it in a very monotone way. It sounds like it's such a simple thing, but it like gives me chills just thinking about it because Tanjiro always says Hino Kamikagura with so much gusto and so much energy. So when he just goes Hino Kamikagura, like super quiet, I don't remember exactly what form he says because I think this is the first time hearing it was Setting Sun Transformation, I think, which is our first time actually hearing it voice acted because that was his first time using it in the anime or in the story as a whole. And he nailed how it's supposed to sound so calm and just like it was nothing. Like he just walked up and beheaded him because that's essentially what happened. So huge, huge, huge moment. Definitely number 2. The only reason it isn't number 1 is I wish they had sat on the, like, I wish they had made people really think that Giyu might have died. I thought they were going to do that a little bit more, but they didn't, so it's fine. I just thought of one more honorable mention that I can't believe I didn't say at the beginning because this is like my favorite manga panel in the entire thing. I think it ended up as an honorable mention because in anime format, it didn't hold the same weight that I thought it was going to in the manga. And they also cut out some dialogue afterwards with Giyu that really meant a lot. And I was a little bit sad that they cut that out. Anyway, it might be in the second movie. They might just be moving things around. But Giyu saying, if you want to kill Tanjiro, you have to defeat me first. The scene was beautiful. The voice acting was beautiful. I already love that scene, so I have to give it an honorable mention. Amazing. Just like chills. Like that is such a pinnacle moment for Giyu. I just wish that we didn't move past it so quickly because since we took out his dialogue that he does afterwards, it kind of was like over and done super fast. So that's why it's an honorable mention and not in my top 5. But number 1 is Giyu awakening his mark and the battle sequence that follows that. Guys, I could literally just rewatch the movie just for that like 2-minute long scene. First of all, him being so unintentionally funny talking about his back was hilarious. And then the way he awakens his mark being more like he awoke it because it was one of the first times he's genuinely felt like his life was at risk. And it's so funny because it's like Giyu's backstory and background is him thinking that he doesn't even deserve to be a demon slayer, let alone a Hashira, because of him being saved by Sabito. But then he like drops this bomb where it's like he's been a demon slayer for what, 8 or 9 years, and he's barely ever felt, if not ever, felt like his life is actually in danger. And now it does, and that's what awakens his mark. Like, he's just straight up aura farming. And I love him for that. I love him for that. But the scene that follows is my favorite, like, 1 or 2 minutes in Demon Slayer so far, which is saying a lot. It's saying a lot because there have been some really incredible moments in Demon Slayer, but the animation, the music, oh, the piano and the organ, whenever the organ comes in, I'm gone. Like, I am ascended into heaven. I'm lifting out of my seat because of this music. But instead of lifting out of my seat, I'm like eyes glued to the movie screen because the animation is so good. And I love Giyu, and it's okay. It's so good. And I know this list makes it sound like I only care about the high action sequences. I genuinely care about the backstories, but when it comes to like rewatchable moments for me, it is the action sequences. That's just a preference of mine. It's not that I think that the backstories are a weaker part of the story. They're absolutely not. They're absolutely as important to the plot or important to the show as a whole as the action sequences are, if not more important. Like, let's be so for real. But when it comes to just like straight up enjoyment, which is what I'm really talking about here, how much enjoyment did I get out of a scene? Giyu's mark manifesting and that action sequence is some of the greatest animation I have ever seen. That was, thank God what Giyu was saying was just water breathing forms, because I don't have to look at the subtitles for that, and I'm just like, it was so good. The voice acting was superb, everything about it. Even like the sound effects, like you hear the sound of the dragon from Seisei Ruten, and it's just so good. I could talk about it for hours and hours and hours and hours, but I'm not going to, because then people wouldn't care about this video. So I have a lot more videos to come. The full-length review is coming, I promise. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do it because I started to record it, but it's going to take me a very long time to record. And just reviewing something is not really my cup of tea. And I'm like forgetting things, and I can't just be like, okay, wait, let me look that up really quick. I have to go to the movie again to watch it, which is like, okay, oh no, an excuse to go see the movie again. But I have to lay off. I spent so much money this past week. I need to pay bills, so I have to stop going to the movie for a little while. Anyway, I think I'm gonna make a video about what was adapted and kind of talk about it that way. I am gonna make a review. I just don't know. It's probably gonna come out next week. I'm just figuring out exactly how I wanna lay it out because I'm still not sure how I wanna do it. So be on the lookout. There is gonna be a spoilery review about the movie. I'm just not a reviewer, so it's kind of hard for me to really talk about it without being like, I don't even know how to describe it. Anyway, it's coming, I promise. But for now, this is what you're getting. This entire movie was so freaking good. This was a really hard list to make, and I think I probably am honestly forgetting some stuff that would probably be in the top 5 for me if I watched it again. Like, let's be so for real. But as of right now, as of myself, 48 hours post my 4th viewing, this is how I feel. So anyway, yeah. Those are my top 5 favorite moments, along with some honorable mentions. What were yours? Let me know in the comments below. But that is going to be it for today's video. If you liked it, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment your thoughts. Also, don't forget to follow me on my social media. I'm at Hannah Malay on Instagram and TikTok, and at lookingnerdy on X. But with that, thank you so much for watching today's video, and I will see you all later. Matane!